A group of extraterrestrials land on Earth and proceed to annihilate a small town before resurrecting half of its inhabitants. However, the quality of life they experience is questionable as they embark on a quest to find a new habitat. Eventually, they stumble upon a planet located in Pennsylvania where a family in the town of Barrage gathers for a meal. Abruptly, a deafening explosion interrupts their dinner, momentarily before meeting their demise. Exobiologist Lauren Stone catches wind of breaking news on television regarding a devastating blast that wiped out the entire populace of Borage, consisting of 1,300 individuals. The explosion is speculated to have taken place at a nearby chemical factory, resulting in the settlement's air becoming fatally contaminated by a toxic agent. As she takes a relaxing bath, her thoughts drift back to simpler times. As she reminisces, Lauren's thoughts are abruptly disrupted by the unexpected arrival of the military. Despite her confusion regarding her potential role in the investigation, Colonel Emmerich introduces her to astrobiologist Santiago, hinting at her potential contributions to the case. Based on geological evidence, it is determined that the explosion resulted from the impact of a meteorite releasing a lethal gas into the air. Lauren and the team are summoned to the crash site to gather any pertinent evidence that may provide further insight into the tragic event. The scientists don protective gear and journey to the crash site of the meteorite. Upon arriving at the site, they begin their investigation. As Santiago conducts his examination of the crash site, the duo is met with a desolate expanse of snowy terrain and a diminutive heap of soil. Despite the barren surroundings, Lauren spots a minute sprout of red vegetation and ponders how it managed to flourish in such an inhospitable environment. After returning home, Lauren delves into her research, unearthing information on a comparable incident that occurred in 2013, where a meteorite detonated over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk. In her search, she discovers an interview with a local inhabitant, documented by American television. According to the local resident interviewed in the aftermath of the Chelyabinsk meteorite incident, a lethal gas permeated the vicinity following the impact, resulting in numerous fatalities. Additionally, it was rumored that a colossal tree emerged at the crash site, causing the demise of all organisms in its proximity. However, the tree was subsequently felled, and details surrounding the incident were concealed from the public. In a disturbing postscript to the interview, journalists reveal that the woman who provided the account was promptly eliminated. The following day, medical professionals commence with an autopsy on the deceased individual from Barrage. Initially, everything appears routine. However, when the physician makes an incision, an anomalous blue fluid seeps out from the wound, only to be promptly reabsorbed by the body, leading to a rapid recovery. Yet, the most astounding development transpires when the man abruptly reawakens on the examination table, gazing downward without reacting to the commotion around him. The man exhibits no discernible vital signs such as a pulse or blood pressure, and his body temperature is cold to the touch. Therefore, all evidence suggests that the man has passed away. Suddenly, loud wailing emanates from behind the door. As it turns out, another 40 individuals have abruptly awakened from a comatose state and returned to life. Despite medical professionals' attempts to elicit a response from the resurrected individuals, their efforts prove futile. All of the revived individuals are townspeople who not only inhaled the toxic gas, but also ingested a substance that has resulted in a transformation of their DNA. Their behavior is limited to occasional movements or glances. In the meantime, Lauren informs Emmerich about the Chelyabinsk meteorite incident, suggesting that the disaster was not an isolated event. She speculates that these occurrences may be part of a sinister scheme, but the colonel dismisses the idea of a conspiracy. A government panel convenes to evaluate the situation and suggests disposing of the bodies to prevent further harm. However, to unravel the mystery, a comprehensive analysis of all information is necessary, or else Manhattan could be the next target. Later, Lauren purchases alcohol and drinks it while sitting in her car, reminiscing about a clandestine trip with her father. The following day, she enters a chamber where the resurrected individuals are seated, observing them closely. While sitting with the revived people, Lauren is approached by a girl who shares a childhood memory of her mother who has since passed away. Suddenly, Lauren's phone rings, displaying a photo of the red planet taken from the scene of the incident, causing the girl to grab Lauren's hand. After the call, Lauren shares the information with her colleagues, proposing that the red plant found at the crash site may be the culprit. Santiago observes that all the survivors are gazing towards the north where the meteorite had crashed. At this point, the colonel discloses that they have found a sapling, but they are unsure of what it is because the plant is enormous and still expanding. The location is under strict surveillance, and the plant was discovered only when it grew big enough to be seen from a distance. After arriving at the site, the team of scientists discovers that the object that fell from the sky was not a meteorite, but a colossal seed. To investigate, they take one of the revived people with them to the area where the seed landed. As they approach, they see a tree of immense proportions and bring the man in the wheelchair closer to it. Then he suddenly moves, raises his head, and looks around in amazement at his surroundings, including his own hands and the snow beneath his feet. And then he reveals that he can survive in Earth's environment, and decides to stay on the planet. After the return, Lauren shares her findings that the tree is creating a unique environment to support its own survival, including air that is toxic to humans. The scientists speculate that the aliens arrived on Earth through a wormhole, a special portal. During the discussion, Lauren is bombarded with questions about her personal life, including her struggles with alcohol and prohibited substances. Afterwards, a message from her psychotherapist appears on Lauren's answering machine, informing her that she missed their session, which was part of her sentence. The session was intended to address her childhood memories that still haunt her. Meanwhile, Lauren's father arrives at her door, but she is not pleased to see him. He attempts to initiate a conversation, reminiscing about how on her 8th birthday she requested a scientific laboratory, but they gave her an old barn instead. After Lauren is summoned by the colonel, she discovers that the alien only wishes to speak to her because he trusts her. The alien has prepared a list of questions and asks Lauren to find out more about Earth and why humans are so obsessed with war. The alien then reveals that their home planet is no longer livable and they need a new home, which is why they came to Earth. The search for a new home led the aliens to Earth, guided by coordinates from a human known as Supernova 94. They studied human behavior, both good and bad, and now the alien wants to speak with Lauren, whom he considers a friend. Lauren shares her concerns about the destructive impact of the tree on the planet, and the alien acknowledges that humans are not equipped to stop them. He explains that his species has unique abilities and does not rely on physical strength or weapons to protect themselves. Santiago suddenly exhibits erratic behavior and disregards safety protocols by unzipping his protective suit. Despite attempts by military personnel to restrain him, their efforts proved futile. In a fit of desperation, Santiago tears the mask off a soldier who was attempting to help him, resulting in the soldier's demise. A soldier suggests shooting the alien, but before any action can be taken, they are hit by a deafening sound attack that drives them into a frenzy and they begin firing on one another. Later, a fighter jet armed with missiles is dispatched to the tree. The pilots spot a small figure at the base of the tree and are ordered to attack. However, an impenetrable dome appears and shields the tree, causing the missiles to explode harmlessly. Meanwhile, the news reports that the FBI is searching for a person with the nickname Supernova 94 who is believed to be responsible for the expansion. Reports from around the world tell of strange and unexplained sounds emanating from unknown sources. In some areas, smoke seeps out from the ground, killing all living things in its path. People pray fervently, and many countries have imposed martial law. The ground shakes, crops wither, and vegetables rot in the soil. One day, Lauren visits her father's house and stops by the old barn, which she had converted into her own laboratory. The door is locked, but she still feels a sense of familiarity and longing for the space. As she gazes at the house, Lauren decides to walk towards the tree instead. For years, she has struggled with the question of her identity and feels a sense of relief that she can finally live without fear as the world comes to an end. Determined to uncover the truth, she heads towards the alien hotel where the transforming trees continue to shake the ground beneath her feet. As she lies down on the ground, she listens intently to the hum of the planet, feeling the tree's transformation in progress. The moment has arrived, and new life is flourishing, thanks to her efforts. Lauren recollects the day when her father took her to a clandestine facility where a UFO had been captured. As she walks towards the room, she overhears her father being briefed about a dangerous entity that had attempted to assimilate something before being neutralized by the military. The girl discovered a sarcophagus that held an alien inside, and she approached it and touched the glass. Suddenly, the alien reached out and touched the glass from the other side, causing the girl to scream in terror and pass out. A guard discovered her unconscious and brought her to her father. Though she appeared to be in good health, she left with her father still bewildered by what had happened. Since that day, Lauren's behavior has changed significantly. She spends her time creating intricate designs of interstellar ships and writing complex formulas. At school, she constantly finds herself in trouble, using her wit and charm to manipulate both classmates and teachers, often referring to herself as an alien who wants to go home. Eventually, Lauren builds a transmitter and uses it to make contact with a distant planet. As time passed, Lauren's behavior became more erratic, causing concern for her parents. She destroyed her belongings and predicted her own death. It wasn't until her father learned of her altered DNA that they realized Lauren was becoming something other than human. As an adult, Lauren looks back on her past with horror and tears, realizing the truth of her transformation. As Lauren reunites with the alien on its home planet, strange objects resembling eggs start appearing all over Earth, in various terrains such as forests, cities, deserts, and mountains. Eventually, the eggs explode and release black smoke that is lethal to all life forms in their vicinity. The roots of the alien trees have already penetrated deep into the planet, leaving nowhere to hide or survive. The devastation is absolute, and the fate of the world seems bleak. The Earth is now uninhabitable for humans, with all species and plants extinct. A new species is evolving, and Lauren's journey has reached its conclusion. She has found her true home, and the movie comes to an end. Thank you for watching our recap of the 2021 movie Risen.